So far, Audi had nothing against the Mercedes GLS and the BMW X7. Until now, because it's now time for the Audi Q9, the final reveal here, exterior, interior technology and different powertrains and versions, because standing here right now is the SQ9, the top sporty model. But we're also going to show the advanced trim, so the normal Q9 model, different color trim, exterior, interior, and all about the different powertrains later on. Now we start here with Thomas and Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with this front of the SQ9, which is also similar in the S line, because then you have here the honeycomb structure is also illuminated here. It's pretty cool. Then you have in the S model the special inserts and the S badging. Yes, we have the badges back. So yeah, Audi fans fought for that. And then here the illuminated rings. This is exclusively to the North American market where it's allowed. It's not allowed in Europe to have them illuminated in that size here actually. And it would have been allowed if they were smaller. These are always these crazy different regulations, but then they said this large vehicle should also have large Audi rings. Yeah, that's the thing. This is also North American spec, but the Q9 General will also be available worldwide, basically, but the SQ9 is really focused on North America. And then here you have also the NA spec here with the with the reflectors here, and then here your main headroom digital matrix LED. Top part here the turning indicator, cascading way, and then below that the digital matrix LED main headlamp unit. And if you have that, then you can also get this dynamic turning indicator projection light on the ground. Later on with the other car I also dim the lights down that you can see that even a little bit better. And this is a spectacular feature which looks not only cool, but it's actually also good for safety. The length here is at 5 meters 31 or 209 inches. That's 10 centimeters or about 5 inches longer than the Mercedes GLS. It's 13 centimeters longer or 6 inches longer than the BMW X7. And the 3 meters and 14 wheelbase is even 14 centimeters longer wheelbase than the Audi Q7. Longest ever wheelbase in an Audi. And then here 20 to 23 inch wheels. And wow, these are massive indeed. So these ones are the biggest that are available. Oh, by the way, here in the inside you will also have the turning rings that always end up being upright. So the car always looks pretty cool. So here it says R23, biggest ones available. Yeah, pretty massive. Air suspension is standard for the Q9, for the SQ9. Rear axle steering up to 9 degrees in the opposite direction than the front wheels. Very upright building style. Here the roof rails also massive, but I think design-wise it works quite well. Maybe this area I would have made like a little bit slimmer or something like that. Yeah, that's maybe the only thing. Real S badging here, once again, also then for the SQ9, illuminated rings and the contrasting S styling. You could also go for a black package, but I think in that way the S models are even more attractive. There's the proximity sensor that the car says that you like too close. When you get the OLED, and here the thing is always the light logic, you have a base matrix LED. In most markets, it's also standard for the Q9, and then you can optionally go for the digital matrix in the front and optional for the OLED in the rear, which are also really curved all the way around here. And then if you have all the options, then you can also get these indicator projections then on the ground. Real honest exhaust design. You can see it in the lower part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.5 ton of towing, but of course 4 exhaust pipes. Sorry about that. And we will soon also listen to the sound of the engine. We'll also have a sound test of the normal Q9. It's like a 2.9 liter V6. We'll compare that. I can tell you, it will be interesting, the sound of the 2.9 liter V6 so far. So, and then let's take a look under the hood. There we go. That is Daytona gray here, this exterior color. Pretty cool. The other one is a dark blue we have for you today. And then let's open it here, because this is the 4 liter V8 by turbo. We have 590 horsepower and 3.9 seconds in the acceleration figure. all Q9 and also Q7 recently presented. They have all-wheel drive with a rear-wheel bias, torsion differential, and this SQ9 also gets the rear differential for an even sportier, for example, accelerating out of the corners and so on. There's, by the way, this fan here for the battery charger. This is like cable underneath, so it doesn't die here in the studio when all the lights are on all day and so on. Yeah, very interesting. So Audi is going like all the way out, larger, bigger, more luxury features on the inside, and all the way on the combustion engine side. There is no electric pendant for this model. We know that the Porsche Cayenne electric is there. So they have in the group the large electric platform, yes, but so far only the Audi Q6 e-tron, which is a brother or sister model to the Porsche Macan on the electric side. This one here all the way about the combustion engines. And with the other blue model, the normal Q9, we'll also soon take you on a tour of the other different engine concepts. So now I want to explore the interior with you together, but maybe one more quick sound check. So when I want to turn on the engine here, electric doors. See here, there we go, also for the rear. To me, it's sometimes a little bit annoying or it's not working fast enough. I would like just to open the doors and slam them again, and that's it basically. So here also, I mean, a slamming test is possible still in a way, but hardly possible because you're working against the motor and then against the soft close. So yeah, no autogefühl door closing sound for today. Yeah, I can almost not sustain that. Yeah, but rear door handles here are really normal rear door handles. And now I think it's first of all time to listen to that sound. So tell me what you think about the sound here with the V8. Of course, you have this growling then, yeah. But you rather really hear it when you're standing behind the vehicle. So me from the front, when I had the windows down, even with the windows down, I could hardly hear it actually. But Leah was in a better position to hear it actually than here. Talking about sound and soundproof, standard for the Q9 here, the lamination, not only in the front for the windows, but even for the rear. Oh, there's this, the shade is going down first. Now the window is going down.
Whoa, what window?
Look at that. It's like, oh, there the window is ending. Yeah, also lamination here for the rear windows. And this acoustic pack is standard for the Q9 and it's an option for the Q7 for the smaller brother. Then inside here, everything wrapped. Also here then open carbon fiber. There's also aluminum or wood available for the Q9 in general. Fabric insert, 22 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. It's a great sound indeed. And then also softer for your elbow, for example. And Audi moved back here to the classic controls of the window lever and also for the mirror here on the outside, and I think it's a good choice. Then here for the electric doors, no cover from fabric from the inside of the doors and so on. Then here the S, this would also be the same for the S line and the steering wheel. And they also went back for jog wheels on the steering wheel, that's good. So no more sliders there. Here also for the volume. The rest is capacitive but backlit, and at least you have some kind of feedback right there. And I think they have to put the brightness a little bit higher for the instruments a little bit, but a lot of big bezels around here. This is one criticism point they still need to fix. The seats, I have at the moment the seat belt on there because otherwise the car would issue some warning in this prototype software. Let me just unbuckle it for a second. Then now it doesn't do it. Oh, what does it?
It is, yeah.
It does it a bit. So I may move away a bit that you don't hear this beeping sound so much. So Leah can film the seat. So the seat here is the optional Sport Plus seat. Standard is a sport seat for the Q9 and the Sport Plus seat then with this integrated head restraint, and also speakers in the head restraint are possible if you go for the optional sound system. You can even, I'm just moving away for better sound quality that you don't hear this beeping noise. You can also adjust the head restraints a little bit, but I can also show that to you. Is it silent now?
Yeah.
Ah, now it's silent. Perfect. Yeah, then I can also move in. Great timing. And it's a good seating comfort. You sit very upright, and even for tall people, 189, 6'2". Then I love this beautiful microfiber covering of the ceiling, and also here of the sun visor. For example, here it's also extendable because when you're on a longer road trip, especially important for US customers. And this car will also set a hefty North America focus indeed. They want to sell more Q9 in the States than, and in Canada as well, than the Q7. And in Europe it will be the other way around a little bit. And then here, electric control, steering wheel up and down, in and out. And I have here the interesting, like in the Q3 and also the Q7 took it here for the wipers, it's right here. And then this is then for the indicators. And it's an interesting idea to have a very clean solution behind the steering wheel, but it's kind of short. And I realized while driving the Q3 that sometimes in a roundabout you want to use the indicator because it's always a polite thing to do, to say this is where I will be going out of the roundabout, so you don't have to wait. And then you were kind of missing it. Sometimes you do hit it, sometimes not, because it's really short, so not exactly form follows function to me. You can easily learn that actually when stationary, but that you always hit it properly when driving is a little bit trickier. You can close the driver's door either way with here putting the seat belt in. I did show that to you in the Q7 episode. Other alternative would be hitting the brake. Then the door is also closing, and once again, of course, also with the soft touch. Here the steering wheel has the perforation at the side, so you have better grip. And the material quality is really very good. Also your left side, right side here, soft dampened here underneath also when you're within, but you would rather hit this top area though, gotta say that. But still a nice quality, and also here some fabric. Then we have this spectacular roof. So this is this show effect thing, right? You have this digital shade basically, and you can activate or deactivate individual segments of that. For whatever use case this should, I have no idea. I mean, you can also make it completely like this. It's a little bit against the glare or transparent. It does not change how much heat is coming in there. And there's no manual cover for that available, because Audi says that the sun ray filtering would be enough inside the glass. Let's see about that. It is extremely large, very impressive, the largest ever sunroof for an Audi. Also with the ambient lighting inside, it looks pretty stunning, and you can still open it. And the ambient lighting diminishes, but the opening is here really, really large. And I think this car can have a use case next to the GLS and to the X7. I feel that the build quality of the BMW X7 and the Audi Q9 is also a little bit higher than the one of the Mercedes GLS. And if you then compare, for example, the competitors from the American manufacturers, they usually are also extremely large and space on the inside, but they usually lack the the proper suspension. The suspensions are usually not as elaborated as the ones from the German competitors, which are of course also more expensive. Here we also have now more light on the interior, and just keep the seatbelt on that the car doesn't start the beeping again, just in case. Here also the dashboard, everything properly covered, so you hardly find any hard black plastic besides from the inside of the doors. And by the carbon fiber here and here, they also try to reduce the high gloss black piano lacquer. Here we still get one, and there's also these large bezels around the screens, which are also criticized next to this software look, because the look of the software is beta version, and they only offer these schemes that you buy for 10 to 40 euros, that you have a different background there. And yeah, we have criticized it pretty often, and I can only say I will keep criticizing that until they change it, because for such a hefty, expensive car, you need to offer the customers some cool different backgrounds just for free. Maybe make 200 other ones optional, okay, but put 10 for free or whatever, you know, or make one that is so attractive that you don't want to change it, you know. But this one looks just so basic, you know. That's one of the main problems there. Then the glove box here, not too large, not too small, but also falls down smoothly. USB-C charging there in the front. Then we have inductive charging pad. There's also a cooling ring around it. This is also this MagSafe function, and it has like this magnetic function right there. But they say that it should also work for Android phones. I asked them about that. And the interesting thing about the USB-C chargers is, and I really have to read that, is here in the first row you still have 60 watt. In the second row, in the seats 45, in the middle console 100, and the third row 45 watt. At least here these higher watt figures are standard. You maybe remember the Q7 episode where they even have like a step, in the optional step in the watt figures, the power of the USB-C ports per row. And it's like, how can I remember 5 or 6 different watt figures? And it's not possible, you know. But here at least they always put the higher figures because it's the higher positioned car. You know, like the lamination in the windows is standard and not an option, for example, right? It's really like cozy atmosphere here in the front. As I said, these are Sport Seats Plus with the integrated head restraint. The movement of the head restraint is kind of limited though. Like this is the only movement, you know, like up and down. So, and this is not what I call like well adjustable. Ambient integration right here. There are also speakers when you go for the B&O sound system, and you can optionally go for the 4D sound experience. That means that you have some vibration in the seat from the music. Cool show effect, but long term, I wouldn't exactly agree. What is interesting is that we also have seats which have the seat massage function like this. Like, oh, okay, I can also start it for Leah, for example. Yeah.
Whoa!
I have put the intensity to very high, and this is like a really elaborated massage function with individual. That's the stuff.
Oh, now it's good, yeah.
That's the stuff. Yeah, so
After 3 studios now.
yeah,
we're
because
done, yeah.
today we are filming so many cars. Once again, one day it's like extremely exhausting, but it can be a good use case also when you had like an exhausting work day for whatever you did for work and then want to enjoy this massage feature. Together, of course, with the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which also sounds amazing. So yeah, I think the seat massage and B&O sound system is good to have these options indeed. Yeah, Leah is usually not the biggest fan of the seat massage functions, but here she seems to be.
It's very good.
Yeah, and that means something. Then the driver POV. Once again, I'm happy that we have the scroll wheels back here, for example, for the volume. Then you can change the views. So this is here, this RPM meter. I can also turn on the engine one more time that you can really properly see that. Yeah, there we go. So I'm glad that we have this view back, because the other views would be just too artificial, you know what I mean? Then we also have a large head-up display and the main infotainment unit. Once again, this rather bland design. Changing the temperature here again is close, but I've seen it worse in the new Audis here, but still not that easy to reach in the lower part. Also for seat cooling, seat heating. It's also a little bit hidden behind the steering wheel, so controlling this while driving is just too complicated. The new Audi interface here, to me, not ideal to control it while driving, honestly. And then here to the car functions. Here Audi Drive Select, for example, with the visualization. Also the air suspension goes up and down, dynamic comfort, off-road and so on. So then it goes up, for example. These are interesting wheels, right? It's not the ones we have on there. Interesting. Yeah. And then you can see also like in the, this is not the SQ visualization. I guess you will have an SQ9 visualization later on in your vehicle, but this is like the normal front grille. We'll also show that to you in the other car. And here with the electric doors, I can also individually open them from here. Seat materials, by the way, this here all the way animal skin. You can also get a microfiber dynamic car seat on the inside at least, but there is no animal-free alternative for an Audi Q9, like in many other Audi models. There's just like 1 or 2 Audi models which are available animal-free, so they're really lacking behind also in comparison to other volume manufacturers. And the reason is not technology. Modern leather-wrapped materials or modern fabrics and so on and microfiber, they are not as good but even better in some performance elements, also from the durability and also how soft they are. So it's not a question of technology. The technology is already, far advanced as for that, and you don't have to miss anything. I feel so passionate about this because I have been living with animals all my life. I had the privilege to do so. I'm really grateful for that. And I also led these animals from beginning to end of their lives. And each time it broke my heart, literally, until today. And that's why I so passionately feel about this topic, because animals are really so deeply important to me in my heart. That's why I also feel with other animals. And I think a modern car interior doesn't need it anymore. When it's not needed for technology, you don't really also need it for any other reason, And Audi is just not getting this idea. Everyone else does, not Audi. Yeah, that is to me a sad thing to experience. But I'm still digging, of course. And this is here not the SQ9, also not the S-Line, because the S-Line would get also like this honeycomb structure in the grille. This is the advanced or the base Q9, and also looks very impressive here with the illuminated front grille. In this vertical styling, large illuminated Audi rings also for the North American market. That's not allowed in the EU spec, actually. And yeah, we can also show the turning indicators once more, because here we can also like easily dim the light. And here in the North American spec again, yeah, I mean, always looks spectacular, right? Also in this very combination here, right? Yeah, that's always a fun thing to do. And this one here is a darker blue color from the exterior. Looks also very elegant. I rather prefer more brighter blue colors that you can see it's blue, but it's still a very elegant choice. Here also 22-inch wheels then in this case. Would start from 20-inch, and you can see in this dark blue also once again this very upright line, large roof rails here definitely, and the rear that you also get another perspective right here. Is also, by the way, interesting difference to the Q7 here. The like the boot lip is lower and also is more spacious from the inside. That's also a very interesting thing. Once again, the illuminated rings in the rear. Yeah, you can always watch this proximity lighting here too. Where does it? Or maybe we have to do it again together again. There it is, the proximity sensor. But this again
Together
only.
we are a vehicle.
Yes, together we are a vehicle. This is the really curved style, and once again the OLED an option. So, and since this one here is not the SQ9 but the normal Q9, there are also different engines. So there's no V8 then. Here, this one is the 2.9 liter V6. So almost 3 liter 6-cylinder, but in this case it's the 2.9 spec with the bi-turbo, 430 horsepower. This is for the North American market. Then the 6-cylinder petrol for the EU market or for China would be the 3 liter V6 single turbo with 367 horsepower. So less power, just one turbo. And then there's also for the European market the 3 liter diesel, 6-cylinder diesel with 250 or 300 horsepower. 300 horsepower will be a standard then also for the German market, for example. And based on the 3 liter V6 is also a plug-in hybrid in playing. This will also be relevant, especially where it's making sense in a taxation way and so on. But also interesting that due to the different emission laws and so on, they put the 2.9 bi-turbo 6-cylinder for the North American and the 3 liter V6 for the Chinese and for the European market. And altogether, of course, always all-wheel drive and always with a rear-wheel bias. An interior with a different spec here. I really love the very bright matte wood, the different matte wood stylings available. This is actually pretty cool. Also then here with this perforation that the ambient lighting can shine through. And also then here you can see steering wheel here once again with the matte wood, and this then more this darker brown animal skin. We have attached the seatbelt here, by the way, that the car is not doing some beeping sounds. There's sometimes
our
these.
friend here.
Yeah. Our imaginary friend is sitting here. But look at that, the bright wood at the middle console. I think that's, to me, so to speak, the highlight of this vehicle. And the rear is once again also equipped here, in this case, with the captain seats. Remember that you can also get the 7-seater. The captain seats, of course, offer more luxury than when you sit in the rear. On the cost, again, that you cannot fold them all the way flat. And driver POV here with the digital instruments. You can have this map view, then you have this view with the analog digital meter, so to speak. And then also this one, so you can vary it a little bit and can also zoom in and out of the map. This is only the car internal map though. And then here, there's not much change there. A big head-up display is also even visible on that camera. And then the main infotainment unit looks like this. You have this main menu that looks, once again, with this beta version style. Of course, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is also available. Now the second seating row and soon the third seating row. I mean, these doors, I can't see where the ending of the door is. You know, maybe far, I need binoculars to really see the ending of these doors. And here we have the electric shade, great luxury feature, also covers all the way of that. Then the open carbon fiber here once again, and the ambient lighting shines through. So I'm really happy with the build quality, except again, the fabric on the inside of the doors, that would have been desired. And you can get this one here as a 6 or 7-seater. This one here is the 6-seater, means we have the captain seats. So, and then we have the ISOFIX here also on the captain seats as well. And they're also very comfortable. They have also the separated armrest. And the cool thing about these captain seats is that you basically have a front seat in the rear. So this is really equal to a front seat, and that's why you can even more relax. You have more space and also here for the shoulder area and the armrest. So you really got to say that this is here more luxury than a luxury sedan, because you also sit more upright, and you would probably not have a sofa at home which has the seating position of a sedan, you know, where you have your knees more up and so on. And so this is actually the more logical luxury position when you really take a very neutral approach to it. A lot of headroom left here, and then you can even more enjoy this large panoramic roof. So that is pretty cool, and you might understand then why they are doing this also for the markets that do very long mileage and so on. There's one disadvantage to these captain seats. It's that, I could soon show that to you as well, when you want to fold them, actually, they just go like this, and that's it basically. So with the 7-seater, you can also have everything fold flat when you want to load things through. So you have to really decide about that, what you really want. Then in the middle part here, you have cup holders. They're also nicely illuminated, also with the adaptation, and then climate unit also separately. This is the same climate unit for the rear than we've seen like the last 10 years. But it's actually fine. You know, it is touch, yes, but it gives some kind of feedback, and you can control everything you like. Also rear seat heating. There is also seat ventilation available, by the way. You can get that one as an option as well, but so far only for the front seats. And then you can also have these electric controls here on the side. So first of all, here in the lower part, sorry about that, here, this is front and back, and this is then the inclination right there. So this is directly possible at the seat. And then there are these additional controls, and they are also pretty interesting because, for example, you can hit this button. I'll prepare myself right away, parallel units. So, and then it goes forward. You could theoretically leave a small child seat on that one as well. And then it moves forward, and you can have access to the third seating row. At this moment here, this cover is still installed. And I can tell you it's a lot of work to de-install that. And that's why it's so interesting to show that to you exactly. I also moved this seat forward now. So when I soon put up these seats, then I can show you if I can also sit behind myself as a tall adult. Remember, this one has 14 centimeters longer wheelbase if you compare it to an Audi Q7. In the Audi Q7, the third seating row was rather, you know, child seat thing alike. The 7-seater has a boot space, that's probably more important, of 700 to 850 liters. If you move to the cargo space, here a little bit less in liter figure because of the captain seats. And then here, this one is an electric cover that moves up and down. Here it's up. When you close the trunk, it moves down to this position again. It's nicely done. And also here, like the individual build quality of the small parts are also pretty cool. Look at that, how long the trunk is. I really have to reach deeply in there to deinstall this cover. And now it gets interesting because I want to store that at some point. And then here, I lift up this one. So, and now there needs to be 2 tricks. So, turning this, there we go. So, start disassembling this vehicle. And this small piece, now we have to check that. Yeah, this, see it once and twice. This needs to be like pushed in. And then I think I'm getting practice with this one. So, and then here, there we go. Oh, yes, I think I did it like the 3rd or 4th time today. And now it actually worked.
Now you can book, Thomas.
In less than an hour. Less than an hour. So there we go. Yeah. Free disassembling here from the trunk covers from me next time. So then here, down, and then we have everything hidden. So there you can see this is the limitation and with the captain seats. I think this is not really allowed to have it in this position while driving. But let me first put the seats up. I can do that here actually, or I could also do it on the other side. And if Leah now follows me around. So 3rd seating row, and this is then the difference to the Q7 here. This would still somewhat work when I have this one put a little bit forward. In the Q7, the 3rd seating row, I was sitting like this basically with my knee. And this was like the 14 centimeters that was missing. So this 14 centimeters in wheelbase is that you have a real usable 3rd bench and or 3rd row bench. You also have seat heating and USB-C charging here in the rear. So yeah, cup holders even for the rear seats, that's quite cool. You even have ventilation here in the rear part. So that's actually quite nice. In this case, with the 6-seater, you can also go through the middle. It will also be possible. So yeah, different possibilities to use this vehicle and ISOFIX as well. So you can also install some child seats here in the 3rd row. Yeah, and now the question is, okay, if we have this limitation, so what can we do with the trunk then? Because it does look funny though. It's time to measure that thing. Yeah, it's interesting, right? In Q7 you can reach here, but here you really have to reach down there because they made it a little bit lower, also less thick from the inside. You even have more space. Then here in the 3rd row you have 23 inches or 60 centimeters. Then you can press this all luggage button, so to speak. Then the 3rd row goes down, and then you have length here. Let's see, let's do this one here, 47 inches, 1 meter is 20, and a height of about 79 centimeters, or like almost 80 centimeters, 31 inches. And this is the thing now with the captain seats, they go like this and that's it. And if you would have the 7-seater, then they would go all the way flat and the whole ruler of like 2 meters or like 80 inches goes in the vehicle as well. Even longer, you know, I can, but I don't want to scratch the middle console, so I have to be like really careful. You know that I'm always extremely careful, especially with you know, like property that is not myself. So that this is already 2 meters. Wow! And then, how much is it more? It's a good team here with Leah. So yeah, it's like 2 meters 20 something, or like 86 inches. Wow.
You can put a PAX in there.
Yeah, IKEA packs like, or packs like this, you know, like the standard IKEA wardrobe thing. You know, everyone has it at home, right? So yeah, this might, but then, you know, of course, yeah, the 6-seater might be a little bit critical of that. So looking forward to if you would prefer the 6 or the 7-seater. Yeah, very interesting vehicle. You can maybe read your pirate stories while you are in the captain's seats then in the 2nd seating row. Yeah, as SQ9, like when Leah entered the studio, she was like, because Leah always likes the sporty vehicles, you know, I'm more like this And they have the classic look and more elegance and so on.
Elegant.
Is it classic and yeah? Is it? Is it? Yeah. I mean, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
maybe.
So yeah, Leah always wants to take the black wheels. I always want to take the bright wheels and so on. And then yeah, you know, it's like, you know, it's probably like for you, you always have to find somewhat compromise, you know. And pricing already like a first outlook. Oh, we got a spider in the studio here now as well. Pricing outlook is, I mean, somewhat $100,000 or euros, and then will easily with the SQ9 go up to like 150 or something like that. So I think we can easily reach it. I always like to do that as a kid, you know. You can, you know, can you relate? It was just like fascinating to also play with these as a kid. Also maybe like forming some stuff, you know, like triangles or like this and so on. Yeah.
And you have your finger between it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really have to watch out for that. But I think it was like the practice, you know, as a kid for my, because nowadays I'm earning money with measuring car trunks, right? You know, life goal is achieved. So what do you think about the Audi Q9 and especially here also the SQ9? Which version would you go for? And how would you rate it against the BMW X7 and the Mercedes GLS? They all have their distinct features and so on. And if you cannot remember properly, you can check out these two right now.